Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Alright, I want to go into the history of this folly days, the history of these folly days that is celebrated in my city, San Antonio, Texas, as known as Fiesta. I was inspired by the brother, um, this brother that followed me, Emmanuel 777's video on Mardi Gras, or Immanuel rather, 777, on video on Are You a Reveler? Mardi Gras, Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day, Mardi Gras, right? Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day, Galatians 5 and 21. So this is kind of a land back going to this history, man. Because basically, I'm going to go into why it's off, man. You're going to understand. History of Fiesta. This is straight from the site. The first Battle of Flowers. By 1890, San Antonio, Texas was a thriving trade center with a population of 38,000. In 1891, a group of citizens decided to honor the heroes of the Alamo and Battle of San Antonio with the Battle of Flowers. The first parade had horse-drawn carriages, bicycles decorated with fresh flowers, and floats carrying children dressed as flowers. The belt-knap rifles represented the military. The participants pelted each other with blossoms. The Battle of Flowers parade is the only one in the country to be planned and directed by women. Fiesta becomes a San Antonio tradition. The Battle of Flowers was an immediate success. Within a few years, more events were taking place on or near April 21st. A carnival. Keep that word in mind. Balls and coronations of royalty. The Fiesta tradition had been born. Other early events included street dancing, children's festivals, a trade display parade, and an open orphans party. Fiesta has taken place every year except for 1918 during World War I and 1942 through 1945. Due to you already know what it says. Fiesta 2020 did not take place, and in 21 also due to the same thing. A partial fiesta occurred in June 2021. I believe there's like a Masonic connection to it as well, if I'm not mistaken. But let me continue reading. The Order of the Alamo. In 1909, John Carrington founded the Order of the Alamo, one of the oldest fiesta organizations. The members meet once a year to choose the next year's queen in her court. The queen's duchess includes a princess, 12 in-town duchesses, and 12 from out of town. These royalty are featured in the Battle of Flowers parade. Claire Disco, patron of the Alamo, was the only person to serve as Queen of Fiesta for 3 years, 1904, 1905, and 1906. Since then, queens have served for only 1 year. Many people have speculated about the value of the elegant gowns worn by the queen in her court. Members of the order say that the costs are determined between the families and the dressmakers, so figures of 10,000 or more are just guesses by people admiring the beautiful dresses and trains. The Texas Cavaliers. Over the early years, Fiesta royalty included King Cotton, King Salama, Tamales spelled backwards, King Omala, Alamo spelled backwards, and King Antonio. And I'm going to continue reading. Some years no king was named. John Carrington formed the Texas Cavaliers In 1926, one purpose of the organization was to select King Antonio. The first Cavaliers king was Sterling Burke crowned King Antonio IX in 1927. The pilgrimage to the Alamo. The Alamo Mission Chapter Daughters of the Republic of Texas has staged its pilgrimage to the Alamo since 1925. The pilgrimage is a memorial tribute to the Alamo heroes and the heritage of Texas, a solemn wreath bearing procession of historic, civic, patriotic, military, and school groups walk silently to the Alamo. At the same time, an announcer intones the name of the Alamo defenders from within the Alamo walls. The ceremony includes with a brief memorial service and so on and so on, right? But I believe that. Hold on. Let me get this as well. Uh, San Antonio Masonic Connection. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if it is. I'm gonna see for sure. If not, slack it for what I said earlier, but because I was wrong. But I believe that there is. Hmm, let me see. But even if it isn't, bro, um, I'm gonna show you why it's still off. But let me get to it. Let me get to that article, that Axios article. Unraveling the complex history of San Antonio's Fiesta celebration. Fiesta, the 11-day annual party that unites thousands of residents and visitors, is rooted in a complicated history that some says is divisive. Why it matters. Fiesta attracts more than 2 million attendees annually. Many aren't aware that the Mexican themed event celebrates the defeat of Mexicans in the Texas Revolution. Yeah. Critics say organizers haven't done enough to celebrate the modern celebration from its origins. Context: Fiesta began in 1891 to honor the Texans who fought and died in the battles at the Alamo and San Jacinto, the decisive defeat of Mexican forces. The war was spurred at least in part by Mexico's abolition of slavery, historians said. It's all about celebrating the Texas Revolution, but the Texas Revolution was not a good thing for people of color, quote unquote. Liliana Patricia Saldana, Mexican American Studies Program Coordinator at the University of Texas at San Antonio, tells Axios. Valerie Martinez, Assistant History Professor at Our Lady of the Lake University, tells Axios the conception of Fiesta was rooted in anti-Mexican sentiment. State of play: Fiesta has grown into a citywide celebration with more than 100 events supporting nonprofits. But what do you see? Who do you see going the hardest for Fiesta? You so-called Mexicans, which are the tribe of Ishkar. State of play: Fiesta has grown into a citywide celebration with more than 100 events supporting nonprofits, which of course, they themselves, they kickbacks for what they do. Tax exemption. The Fiesta Commission, which does not respond to interview requests, describes the event as a way to honor the battles, but also, of course, they're going to say this, but now also as a quote unquote celebration of San Antonio's rich and diverse cultures, quote unquote. Because it's controversial now to celebrate openly the Edomites, basically taking Texas, the so called white man taking Texas. So now they gotta say this. But it's still that. It's still what it is. Between the lines, two fiestas have emerged as the celebration has evolved. There are Alamo-centric commemorations and exclusive groups, like the Order of the Alamo, which is private and predominantly so-called white. Yep. And then Fiesta's schedule also includes events like the Flambeau Parade, Oyster Bake, Fiesta de los Reyes, and more that are open to the public, diverse, and popular. What's happening? Local artists Ruben Cordova penned opinion pieces in recent years calling for the decoupling of Fiesta from the war. He tells Axios that changing the date of Fiesta from April, which coincides with the Battle of San Jacinto, would be the start. Cordova says marking the battle with the celebration that uses Mexican imagery is an affront to the city's residents with Mexican roots, and changing the dates would make it more inclusive. Flashback: this isn't the first time Fiesta has been challenged. Notes Laura Hernandez, Irishman, author of quote unquote Inventing the Fiesta City, Heritage and Carnival in San Antonio. Dropping San Jacinto from the event's name in 1959 was an early move away from the war, she tells Axios. Residents have contrasted the exclusivity of the Order of the Alamo and King Antonio by creating more accessible and diverse figures in events like Raphael and Coronation. Now, what they did is they got you Jakes. Then what they really did is they got you Jakes, especially Northern Kingdom, so-called Latinos, especially you so-called Mexicans, to celebrate your own downfall. That's what they did. What they're saying, Hernandez Arizman, who's from San Antonio, says as long as Fiesta remains tied to the Texas Revolution, it will continue to be problematic and divisive. Fiesta is complicated because it's a cause to celebrate unity, but among people who have profound differences, quote unquote. Hernandez Irishman says, take away the war, let's look at it through a different lens and say this is a celebration of San Antonio's culture, quote unquote, said Yolanda Rodriguez Escobar, director of the OLLU Center for Mexican American Studies and Research. As Hispanics become the state's so-called Hispanics, northern tribes, along with the natives. But as I have brought out, some of y'all are not Northern Kingdom, y'all are Southern Kingdom. Descendants of, many of y'all descendants of Southern Kingdom through the the so-called Sephardic Jews, who mainly are Jake. But most of y'all are Northern Kingdom, so I'm just gonna say Northern Kingdom for all intensive purposes. But as Hispanics, aka Northern Kingdom, become the state's largest demographic group, Saldana said it's time to have a historical consciousness about the origins of Fiesta. Yes, but while the history of Fiesta is complicated and may pose an internal conflict for attendees, Hernandez Irishman says there are still ways to celebrate and support local groups. And that's what Jake will do to like justify celebrating some bullshit. That's what Jake will do, man. Jake will say that, oh, now it's about, for example, here San Antonio culture or whatever. Now it's about that. That's what Jake will do to justify it. But hey, Yalba Shimmy Al Shai is clearly not with this day. Here's a local news article. Identities released for two killed at Market Square Fiesta event. This happened not too long ago. I'm gonna play this video for y'all. Y'all gonna see.
Meantime, this year's Fiesta, it may have been filled with fun and good times for many of us, but for those in Market Square in the wee hours of Sunday morning, the party ended with gunshots. Police on
Blacked out. Oh, there's a commercial. Wait till it passes.
on the scene heard those gunshots ring out near the stage area, and then they quickly moved in with their own gunfire.
2 people died. Initially, a 20-year-old was hit, but police took down the alleged shooter, who also later died. This afternoon, the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office releasing the names of both men, Mikey Valdez and Albert Cisneros Jr.
Katrina Weber reports the whole thing has some people wondering if staying home is the best way to stay safe.
There was music, food, and definitely fun. All happy memories of Fiesta 2024. But even more sad now than the discarded decorations are images of deadly trouble that disrupted one particular celebration.
Been coming out here for years, but unfortunately, I think it's getting out of hand.
This man who didn't want to show his face says he was enjoying Fiesta de los Reyes when chaos erupted in Market Square just before midnight Saturday. Another Fiesta goer captured it on video. Gunshots fired both by police and 2 men who they say were shooting at each other in the middle of the crowd. In the end, both men died and several innocent people were hurt.
Oh my God!
We have to do something to keep people from bringing guns in.
Jaime Erejon, a vendor at Market Square for decades, is disappointed by the violence. The shooting happened just days after another clash at a concert there. Police say 2 officers were hurt last week while trying to break up fights. And last year, an argument at the same Fiesta event also led to a shooting.
I want people to come in and enjoy it and know they're going to be, safe.
What happened here definitely has some people reflecting on their plans for the future and whether they include attending Fiesta events again.
It's a family event, and now it's kind of dangerous.
Will you come back?
Maybe, but I might leave early.
He says he hopes organizers will find a way to weed out trouble next year and keep the bad elements from ruining the good times. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And speaking of possible changes, about 30 minutes ago, Chief William McManus released an update on the incident on Facebook, which is unusual in and of itself. He did not take questions from anyone but members of his own police staff. He says next Fiesta people going to celebrate at Market Square will be checked for weapons. That includes bag checks. Again, exactly how that will happen, the logistics, not clear since the chief only did a Facebook update. He did not take questions from journalists. We called and emailed the executive director of the Ray Feo Consejo Educational Foundation, which puts on Fiesta de los Reyes every year. We also emailed the Fiesta Commission. So far, no one has responded.
This morning, San Antonio Police.
Let me pause this. Slack. Thought it was gonna take me to that page. Let me go to. Let me see if it did. Okay, good. Let me go to. Spirits created for vengeance. Ecclesiastes 39 verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes, and in the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Verse 29. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Verse 30. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Verse 31, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. You know, and that those cops as well as those two dudes, those are spirits created for vengeance. And let me get you know, cause these folly days are off, man. And let me get this verse. 1 Peter 4:3, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine. You're not supposed to do that all the time, man. Revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. You know. Also, hey, Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. And this was talking about the righteous festivities. If he feels this way about you wicked jakes, you know, going off and then celebrating these righteous holidays, how much more displeased is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai with you celebrating these wicked folly days, basically celebrating the downfall of your people. You know, Jeremiah 10:3. And we bring this out when we talk about so-called Christmas, but it applies here as well, you know, because this is also another vain custom of the people. Jeremiah 10:3, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. The customs of the people are vain, man. That's why Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai had that spirit created for vengeance do his thing. You know, shall there be evil in the city? Shall there be evil in the city? I'm gonna get it, man. Amos 3:6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai hath not done it? Ultimately, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai did it. You know, he judged those two dudes for celebrating this wicked folly day among other sins. You know, and there will be more judgment. There's another, if we still here in 2025 and this shit is still going on, you know, there'll be more judgments. This folly day is also another reason for y'all to eat abominations. You have the Fiesta oyster bake, you know, going on. And a lot of y'all attend that because y'all see nothing wrong with it. You know, when I saw that video that the brother did on Mardi Gras, it reminded me of Fiesta, man. Isaiah 66:17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in a garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse, because y'all was eating mice back then, shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. broth, or cups full of abominable noble things. KJV. It's not talking about, that's talking about Babylon, that verse in Revelation. Isaiah 65:4 is what I want to get. Which remain among the graves and luggage and the monuments, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things is in their vessels. Verse 5, which says, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. Same people. The same people. These are smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. You know, smoke in your nose, man. It's like a smoke in your nose. That's how it is to Yahweh Shemi outside. It's like smoke in his nose. Yeah, but hey, you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all need to get away. The elects will, and also you Israelite foreigners, aka speckled birds, y'all need to get away from these wicked folly days, man. You know, celebrating the downfall of your own people is not cool. Because the Battle of the Alamo, which Mexico won, and then you had the Battle of San Jacinto that the Edomite Texans won. The Edomite-led Texan forces won. You know, led to the downfall of you so-called Mexicans. And you so-called black people, too. You Judites. Y'all mainly Judites. Y'all as well, because part of the reason for the Texas Revolution was brought out was that slavery had been made illegal in Mexico. That's part of the reason why the Edomite Texans bucked up. But yeah, it's definitely a celebration of the downfall of you so-called Mexicans primarily. And you so-called black people, you Judites, here in Texas. Even Gad, you know, because which is so-called natives, because it led to more Edomites coming in here and taking your land. Led to the Mexican-American War. So it's definitely L for your tribes, man. Who won the Mexican-American War? Esau, the so-called white man. So with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Shalom. Stay strong. Ababa Ball. Death to Babylon. Abadla Adawamium. Death to these Edomites. Abadla Gawayim. Death to these other nations. Abadla Yabyum Nawa. Death to our enemies. The rest of our enemies being 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners here in Babylon, the land of our oppression. And also you wicked Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth who are living outside of Babylon. If y'all, well, the ones of you who don't repent, and because y'all are not destined to repent, y'all will get put to death also by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, stay strong, Ababa Ball, Wa Yasharala forever. Shalom.